The Texas sun hung heavy over the land, spreading golden light across the open prairie. Dust shimmered in the air like glass, and the only sound was the slow creak of saddle leather. Luke Madsen, a rancher with calloused hands and tired eyes, had been riding since dawn. The drought had turned everything into dust, his cattle were thin, the grass dry, and even the wind seemed to carry sorrow. He guided his horse toward the old creek bed, hoping for a drop of water, but what he found instead made his heart freeze. There, lying in the hot sand, was a woman. Her dress was torn, skin sunburned, and blood stained the cloth near her shoulder. She was breathing, barely. Her hair, long, dark, tangled, covered half her face. And then, he heard her whisper, soft but broken, "I beg you, it hurts so bad." Luke froze. The words hit him harder than any bullet ever had. He slid from his horse and knelt beside her, careful but quick. "Hey, easy there," he said softly, voice rough with dust. "Don't move." She flinched when he touched her arm. "Please, no more." That made him stop. His chest tightened. "No more what?" She looked up, eyes full of fear, pain, and something else, mistrust. They tried to take me," she whispered. "Said they'd help, but they hurt instead." Luke clenched his jaw, anger flashing in his eyes. "You're safe now," he said quietly. "Ain't no one here but me." The wind blew, carrying her sob against the silence. He looked around, footprints, wagon tracks, some blood on the dirt. Whoever did this was long gone. "Name's Luke," he said, voice calm. "I'm a rancher a few miles west. You're coming with me, I'll fix that wound." She shook her head weakly. "It hurts too much, please, make it stop." He swallowed hard, eyes flicking to the bullet graze on her shoulder. It wasn't deep, but it was infected. He'd need to clean it, now. He wrapped his bandana around her arm, tightening it gently. She gasped, body tensing. "It'll be quick," he murmured, almost to himself. Her eyes met his, wide, trembling, trusting him despite everything. "Promise." He nodded once. "Promise." Then, under the full blaze of daylight, he poured water from his canteen over the wound. She cried out, a sharp, broken sound that tore straight through him, but he didn't stop. He couldn't. He pressed the cloth tight, cleaned away the dirt, and when she went still again, he whispered, "It's over. You're all right now." Dash dash dash. He carried her to his horse, lifted her carefully into the saddle, and started the long ride home. The sun beat down on both of them, but she leaned against him, breath shallow, and for the first time in years, he felt something stir in his chest, something other than loneliness. When they reached the ranch, he laid her on his own bed and fetched water. She tried to speak, but he hushed her gently. "Don't talk yet, save your strength." Her eyes fluttered open again. "Why? Help me," he shrugged, dipping the cloth into cool water. "Wouldn't sit right letting somebody die in the dirt. Not while I'm breathing." "You don't know me," she said, voice weak. He gave a small, tired smile. "Don't have to. Pain's the same no matter who you are." Dash dash dash. Later that afternoon, she woke again to the sound of chickens outside and the warm smell of stew on the stove. The sunlight poured through the open window, painting her face gold. She turned her head and saw him sitting nearby, mending a piece of rope. His hat lay on the table, his hair catching the light. He looked up when he felt her gaze. "You awake?" he asked softly. She nodded. Where am I?" "My ranch, about 15 miles west of town." Her brow furrowed. "They'll come back." He leaned forward. "Who?" "The men from the trail. They said I was worth money, that someone would pay for me." Luke's jaw hardened. "Not while I'm around." She blinked at him, confused. "Why would you care?" He didn't answer right away. He poured her a glass of water, placed it in her trembling hands. "Drink," he said. "You'll need it." She did, slow, cautious sips. Then she whispered, "You talk like someone who's lost too." He paused. His eyes darkened, not from anger but memory. "Maybe I have." Dash dash dash. As the hours passed, the daylight softened into gold. Luke stayed close, checking her bandage, listening to her breathe. "What's your name?" he asked quietly. She hesitated, then said, "Mara." "That a family name?" "It was my mother's," she said, looking down. "She used to tell me the desert doesn't take what it loves. It gives it back someday." Luke smiled faintly. "Then I guess the desert just gave you back." She looked at him for a long moment, then whispered, "You're kind." He shook his head. "Just human." But when her eyes softened, and she said, "That's rarer than kindness," he didn't know what to say. Dash dash dash. Outside, the ranch glowed under the evening sun. Chickens pecked, cattle grazed, and the air smelled of dust and peace. Inside, the woman rested while Luke watched the sky change colors, blue to orange, orange to fire. He had no idea who she truly was, what she'd been through, or what danger followed her, but something in him already knew, this woman wasn't a passing stranger. The way she said his name. The way her eyes searched his when she was afraid. The way her voice trembled when she said, "I beg you." He felt it deep, the echo of a life he thought he'd buried. Dash dash dash. That night, as the stars rose and the last light faded, he checked her one more time. Her breathing was steady now. The wound was clean. When he turned to leave, she murmured in her sleep, words that stopped him cold. "Don't go." He stood there, hand on the doorframe, heart tight. "I'm here," he said softly. "I ain't going anywhere." The wind outside whispered through the open window, carrying the scent of the desert and something else, a promise that tomorrow would not be the same.